prophecy of the woman's nest. The woman with eagle's wings and her nest is a prophetic foreshadow written about in the book of Obadiah. Obadiah and their times were a prophetic foreshadow of the end times, of what will occur, and a warning of the prophecy of the end. In the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 3, it says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground?" And this is the location of Petra. And the warning to Edom in Obadiah shows this prophetic insight in the end times and the people of God who inherit the land of Edom, because Esau selling his birthright, and so it's given to Jacob for the end. And this is the location of Petra in the clefts of the rock, which is the mountains of high habitation written of in Obadiah. And the eagles would make their nests high up in the rocks in the clefts of the mountains. And this is the same likeness for that woman who goes to her nest. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 4 says, "Thou, though exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou, though set thy nest among the stars, hence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord." And the woman is given this place for her to go for the 1260 days in the end. And this is warning in Obadiah to the people of Edom about their location, but it's also the location that the Lord has prepared for his people. And this is why the woman is given eagle's wings in the end for the 1260 days. It says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 6, it says, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days." The children of Israel on the Exodus prior were told that they were brought out into the wilderness, and that they were given eagle's wings on their exodus. And this is seen in the book of Exodus. Chapter 19, verse 4 says, "Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself." And this is why the woman is given eagle's wings to go out into the wilderness for those 1260 days to her place at the place of Petra. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 14, it says, "And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent." This is the place where it is prepared, which is her nest at Petra. And the warning to Edom is a prelude to what will occur as well as the warnings in the end. In the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 14, it says, "Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the days of distress." And this warning is talking about the people of Edom, how they had tried to block the people escaping out of Judea. And this warning is for the end. Anybody that gets in the way of trying to interrupt and interfere the Exodus is going to severely see a consequence from the Lord. Luke 21 verse 20 and 21 talks about the escape to Edom. It says, "And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto." Obadiah warned Edom just like Christ warns people in the end times. Obadiah 1:5 says, "If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they have had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?" This warning is a prophetic warning, just like the time of the grape gathering of the time of Christ, which occurs at the end of the 1260 days of the people while they're in Edom. And Christ returns and the gathering of the grapes occurs. Revelation chapter 3 verse 3 says, "Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I come upon thee." In Revelation chapter 16 verse 15 again it says, "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame." So we see him coming as a thief and as a grape gatherer. And we look at this further in the book of Revelation chapter 14 verse 14 and 18. "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So where does Christ begin treading the winepress for the grape gathering, coming as a thief? Yes, he begins at Edom. In the book of Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1 and 2, it says, Who is that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? And we see that Christ returns like a thief in the night, gathering grapes, just like the warning of Obadiah, in Edom, near Petra, and at Basra he begins to tread the winepress and fight against the armies, and the people that will be slain will be turned into a river of blood. And the likeness of this warning is also shown about Christians in the end times. People like to blaspheme the name of Christian, the name Christian. And it's clearly written in Obadiah as well when you look at this, and it's also confirmed when you see what is named of the church in the Bible. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 21 says, And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. This prophecy is talking about the return of the saints with Christ to rule the earth and the kingdom, and it calls them saviors. Now watch this carefully. It says saviors shall come up to Mount Zion. In Obadiah chapter 1 verse 21, this term in Obadiah is the root word for where we get the word Moshiach, which means Messiah. And we see this as Moshiachim. And this Moshiachim is talking about many people. And it's a plural root word termed from Mashiach, Moshe, Moshiach, a Messiah or anointed. And in the word for Mashiach, we see in 48:99, Mashiach means anointed. And that is where it's talking about the Greek word Christos, where we get the one for the anointed Christ. And in that we see in Obadiah, in the word Christos, which is the same word for Moshiachim or Mashiach, we see in Matthew chapter 16, verse 16, it says, And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And that root word we look in the Greek is Christos, which means anointed or Messiah, Mashiach. That Greek word translated to Mashiach, the word Christos, is the masculine form for the anointed one, the Messiah, Christ. And the plural form for that is Moshiachim, or Christianos, Christians. And in the book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26, it says, And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch, and it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. That word Christians in the Greek is from the root word Christos, Christianos, which means anointed ones of the Messiah. This is the same plural root word that you see Christianos from the word Christos, which means plural, Christianos. And this is the word for anointed ones that are in a multitude, a plural form of Moshiach, Christos, and Moshiachim is the word Christianos in Greek. So when we look to Obadiah, in the word saviors, in that foretelling of the return to Mount Zion, it's saying Christians. It would be better translated in Obadiah chapter 1 verse 21, And Christians shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. And this is what is warned in Peter, that people should not be ashamed to bear the name of Christian, who are the Moshiachim. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 16 says, Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on his behalf. And the warning to the world is that the Christians will inhabit Edom. The Christians will inhabit the land of Edom for the 1260 days, and anybody that opposes this will fight directly against the Messiah. The Moshaim will definitely take over the land for that 1260 days, and the warning is clear in the book of Obadiah for those nations. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15 says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee, thy reward shall return upon thine own head." So everybody who fights and resists against these words that are spoken, look clearly what is written in the book of Obadiah and this warning. It says, "Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For what you have done, it shall be done unto you, and your reward will be upon your own head." This is exactly what Christ warns in the book of Revelation chapter 22 verse 12. "And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall be." And the warning is clear. Everything that will be done to the Christians, the Moshaim, during this period, will be retributed on their own heads on his return. Everyone will be delegated an equal portion of judgment for every finger that has been lifted, every tongue that has been risen up against the church. Everyone who's plotted, there will be an equal retribution given and delegated to those people who have stood and opposed the will of God through the end times. On his return, they will be retributed. And the people will definitely go to the land of Edom uninterrupted, and they will be there by the will of God for 1260 days at the woman's nest in the cleft of the rocks. And this is done by the will of God for the Moshaim, for the Christians, for the 1260 days that the woman goes into the wilderness to her nest, the place where God has prepared for her. And this is the prophecy of the woman's nest.